Alright, so today is the start of another big maceration project. This time it is for a Canadian moose. This guy is 50 inches wide. He nets 204/8 Boone & Crockett, and I just got the blue bin filled up with water. This is the start of all these projects, and next we're going to be putting the cloth over the top of the skull to rot that out, and just leave it sit. The fall is supposed to be long and warm this year, so we probably have a solid 4 to 6 weeks to start with. Alright, I got the skull wrapped now with these old rags. I got 2 cloths around the bases here and here underneath these top ones, and that's just to keep the moisture sucked up, and then the top one just helps with the moisture up even more. And I found this works really well because the moisture wants to come up the cotton, and then in turn it keeps the flesh kind of wet, or the rags wet up top. We'll keep wetting them down though a little bit here and there. Flies are starting to get on it, which is good because that means the maggots will come and clean this off even faster on the exposed pieces. But so far so good. It's only been in there a day. The stuff that was submerged is already completely saturated, so the process will be starting really well. It's starting to smell a bit already, so that's good. Anyways, we'll check back in maybe a week or two, change the water out, and see how much has progressed here. Alright, so we're doing our first update video for our taxidermy project here. Going to check the moose, and it's been about 2 months since we initially put it in the water. The weather just started getting warm. It's just that point in the spring where the days are starting to actually get a bit warmer and not freeze at night. It snowed a couple times, but not too bad. And we'll just check the moose. I have changed the water out a couple times to keep it fresh, but today we're going to do our first power wash to get all the rotten flesh off. But let's go check it out. Okay, so here's the big moose project. Alright, so it's actually come a long ways. Just a bit left here. We'll see where that ends up after we power wash it, but see, most of the flesh is all rotted off. This is just like a mush there at this point. That should all pressure wash off. This is some fat that's pulling out of the bone. That'll come off. It's just greasy tissue. Water's getting a little bit murky again, but overall not bad.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 yeah.
appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement, yeah. There's no replacement for persistence, it's a patience, yeah. In this life, I wanna be soaring, to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign.
Okay, it is early, late spring, early summer now. I just changed the water out today. I just want to show, look how white this thing has gotten. There is very, very clean. There's a couple spots on the internal cavities that need more time in the soak. But other than that, this thing's basically almost ready for the degreasing solution and to start sitting in there. But just look how good that did. Now this is, I got this filled with water so you can see. I'm just going to zoom in on these nasal bones. This is how it should look. Just absolutely perfect. You can see kind of in the center, that's where the nose cartilage comes off. The piece that's still in there is calcified, so that'll never come out. But yeah, perfectly preserved nasal scrolls on this one. Like I said, just needs a little bit more time. Finish a couple spots, even on the back here. I'll see if I can get a shot, but the back, it's basically all gone. I can't really hold the camera and twist this up, but the back of the skull is cleaned right off there too, so really good results. I'm very happy with the progress on this so far. This is going to make an awesome Euro mount. Just get back here. Look at the size of this thing. That's a big blue bin too. That skull fills up the whole thing. Just a smaller moose that I'm working on, the one that was in the shed for 5 years. It would sit completely flat in there, but this one need a much bigger bin. But I might buy a longer, narrower bin that I can set this flat in when it comes time to do the degreasing. But for now, this will do. But anyways, we'll check back in a couple of weeks and see where things are at. Okay, the big moose is totally clean. See, this is just from rotting out. I just got to hit it with some water. There's a couple of cavities there, but it is pretty clean. See up in there. Now this area here on the moose is really delicate, and I did break a little bit of the bone out there, but compared to what normally happens, that is minimal. No one will see it anyway. It's going to be behind the wall, but look how clean that got. And this method works really well. You just need patience and time. Okay, here is the top side. Now this looks grease stained, but that's actually still wet. Probably does have a bit of grease there too, but that's mainly just the bone is still damp. Just took the water out. It's totally clean. Just want to show you how well that did. Just up in these nasal cavities. These nasal scrolls are perfectly preserved. And little view of that here. This look good. Now this side, this cracked out. That was from me taking the pressure washer and I hit that spot by accident. So, like, these are very fine. Usually, if you're getting a Euro mount done, they'll just bust those right out on you anyway. But I've got a little piece of membrane I'm actually going to fix that with after, when this is all done. So I can look back in, and that's super thin fine bone. If you're doing the
simmering method, that would be completely gone. So anyways, I will repair that after the degreasing and whitening process. But these nasal scrolls, those are very, very delicate, and to get them preserved is awesome. Again, I got the black garbage bags on to keep rain and sun off the antlers while we're doing this, because this takes a while, and mainly to keep the sun off them, to keep them from bleaching. But yeah, next step, the bin I had before wasn't very ideal for this, so I'm going to get a new one that's just going to be shorter and longer, so I can actually sit the antlers into it flatter and be able to cover the top a lot easier. So I'm going to have to go get one of those. This skull was very, very long compared to the other moose I'm doing. Okay, I just wanted to show a quick comparison. So here's the one that wasn't cleaned right away, that was left in the shed. You can see the discoloration. We're going to have to try pretty hard to fix that, and then compared to one that was done fresh, this one is quite a bit whiter. That area right in here looks like a grease stain, but it's actually just the skull still wet. So anyways, that's why it's important, if you get one of these, to do it while it's fresh. It just makes for a much better end result. Okay, we finally got this thing completely rotted out, and it's very clean to start with. But we're going to do the degreasing process now, so we have the best results we possibly can hope for. As always, I start with borax, and borax actually, if there's any little bits of flesh, it helps take that off the bone. And I put it directly on, but as long as it's dissolved in the water, that's really all you need. That should be plenty for that. Now the next secret ingredient is the Dawn dish soap. And always use the clear. Sometimes it's hard to get for some reason. I prefer to use the clear over the blue or the green or whatever other colors they make this stuff in sometimes, just because you know, you have no dyes in your wash that way. And I'm just giving this guy lots. He doesn't really need it, but I always put it on the top and let it migrate down. Whether you have to do that or not is debatable, but might as well. Big thing is when you mix it to get it foamy, and then just everything gets dissolved in the solution, and it works its magic everywhere. Okay, so next, put the water in. I always start with the shower mode. That way it foams up the soap, and I just give it a little shot on top. Like I said before, don't worry about washing all the borax off or whatever. As long as it's diluted in the solution, you're good. And once I get this foamed up a bit here, I'm gonna just go ahead and put it on the soaker mode. Roll this up. This one's a little bigger, but I used a different container than the blue bin for this because I wanted to have the skull laying flatter in it. Blue bin actually wasn't long enough. I had to buy a longer container that would actually fit this top to bottom. This was a 26-inch long skull, whereas the other one was like 18 inches that I did. So I could have bought one with a shorter side on it, but I just went and cut down the side so I could get the antlers in. I think if I was doing this again, I'd buy that longer, shorter one, or the one that's the same length as this, but only 6 inches high,
It's really all you need, I think. Then you wouldn't have to cut it, you could just do it. Still have the black garbage bags on, but that's purely just to keep the sun off them. And when you're doing this, you know, getting the antlers a little bit wet actually doesn't hurt anything. Before you came along and harvested your critter, these things were living outside, getting rained on all the time, so don't worry about that. You don't want to hit that with the peroxide or the pressure washer, of course, but just soaking it like this is perfectly fine. You won't have any ill results. And also, too, I would recommend just changing this water out every couple of weeks and monitoring it. You just don't want to let anything get away on you. Okay, so I've just went and recovered it with the cloths. You can reuse the same cloths you used to rot it out. What I do is I pressure wash them off, clean up so they get cleaned up, and as the dish soap and the solution goes through it, like, they actually get cleaner the further along this degreasing process goes. You don't need new cloths. You can do that for sure if you want, but I just reuse the same ones. And then also during this degreasing process, the cloth on the top will actually wick grease out of the skull and into the cloth, and then when we change the water out in a couple weeks, we'll just wash the cloths out again and just start this whole process again. Some people think you only need a couple weeks to do it, and that probably works fine, but I like to do this for 2 to 6 weeks just to make sure it's 100% clean and degreased as much as possible. Normally I put some TSP in with the solution as well, but Home Depot was sold out and I didn't want to use the chemical stuff. I used the powder because I know how much to mix in with the borax, and that works really well, but this will work just fine. I've used to do this without TSP as well, but if you can get it, TSP, a little TSP, it's a degreaser in powdered form, works really well for this. So anyways, let's check back in a couple weeks. Alright, the day's finally come. Pulled the mousse out of the degreasing solution. Look how white that is. That's beautiful. But because we did this with maceration, I'm going to pour our 3% peroxide over it again, just to kill anything that, any bacteria or anything. If you do the simmering method, you don't really have to do this, but I just do this as a precaution. Nothing stinks right now. This is just standard 3% peroxide you get at Walmart, and we'll go ahead and pour this on there. Well, we are finally getting to the end of this project. I'm just going to put a little bit of peroxide on some of the darker areas just to even the color out. But just the whitening from the maceration process alone did really well. But this mousse is looking awesome. Let's go ahead and just check that out, and we'll start putting on a little bit of this 40% peroxide. So here is the underside
I don't even know if I'm going to even anything out in here. Maybe a little bit in there and around the bases. But overall this turned out really well. Just going to get the little paintbrush. We'll just do around the bases, and then there's a little bit seen in just in here. I'll maybe just whiten up a little bit, but overall this turned out fantastic. I like the natural bone color. I'll just even that out. It's just a beautiful moose. I'm very happy with it. So okay, I'm just going to do this wire loop method, but this set of antlers is quite a bit heavier than that other moose I did, so I'm going to double wrap this one, I think. Two loops in there. Alright, I think that looks pretty good. Basically just two loops through there of number 9 wire. Twisted one twist here just to make the loop for this to hang, and that'll be plenty strong. So go ahead and put it up. This is big enough. I could have drilled the hole here and put one of my loops on, but figured I'd just do this for now because I had it handy. Well, that wraps up another project here. So this is the maceration moose, 200 inches plus Boone and Crockett. This thing went, and excellent results with the maceration process. This is the only way that I personally am able to do Euros and get the kind of results that I do. I know some guys use the simmering method and do pretty well at it, but I like all the nasal scrolls, and this is just the way that for me works out the best. Anyways, leave your comments below, and I'm also going to put a couple links in the description below just of some of the stuff that you might be able to use to do your own Euro mount or plaque mount at home. And we'll see you guys in the next video.